Alrighty, fanboys and fangirls, we got a huge last minute leak to talk about the March event, and this is probably the biggest leak that we have last minute going, and it might just change the course of this entire event. So I'm not gonna waste any time, I'm just gonna get straight to it, but stay tuned because you're gonna wanna hear everything in this video. All that on today's episode, let's not waste any time, let's get right to it. Alrighty, the first story, the main story, the last report that I didn't think I was gonna talk about the March event because it's literally tomorrow and everybody I know is really talking about it. But we gotta talk about it because it just dropped and a lot of people are starting to change up their predictions, and this kind of is a huge curveball out of left field, and for good reason. Because according to several reports from some users on the internet, I really didn't have time to look up their names, I'll just post the articles so you guys can see. But taking a look at the reports, it seems that Apple has a few curveballs that they are throwing at us, and it is going to change the whole event. Because for the longest time, if you guys have been watching my channel, you'll know that I had no interest in why this event was happening, and it was because of the surrounding products. The iPhone SE with 5G, a refreshed iPad Air, a higher end Mac Mini, and maybe the M2 chip MacBook Pro. I wasn't really too keen on it until the reports started kind of finalizing some ideas, and I thought to myself, why is the iPhone SE in this event? Well, we just got some more news and this is gonna change it. So let's start from the beginning. So according to some last minute reports from Ming-Chi Kuo, Mark Gurman, and also John Prosser from Front Page Tech, basically, here's how the event is now starting to tweak. In regards to the iPhone, there might be a spring color refresh, which is pretty realistic to expect at this point because we've seen Apple do this from time to time. It seems this year's spring color is going to be green. Now last year they did purple, which I thought was a really cool color, but then seeing this green one, yeah, not the biggest fan of that green, but I will say it's different, but I don't think it should be a spring color just because they discontinued the green color from last year. But that's how Apple works. Circulation kind of helps with sales. But anyway, moving on, we also got an image of a purple iPad Air, which does look really cool, reminds me of the iPad Mini's purple, and that's exactly what it's gonna be. It's basically just the same product with 5G, a new chip, maybe a new camera lens, and maybe the center stage kind of focus thing they were talking about, but that's it for the iPad Air. Now we get to the thing that everybody's talking about. So according to all three of them, it seems that the higher end Mac Mini is not the Mac Mini we thought it was going to be, but rather it is going to be a bigger, a larger, and more powerful Mac than we have ever seen. And that Mac is called the Mac Studio. Now, taking a look at the images, they also line up with the leaks that John Prosser had did a little while back. But taking a look at this new Mac, it is essentially going to be a bigger version of the Mac Mini. And that's kind of what we already knew, but now we have the details that explains what this product is. So the name of it is dubbed the Mac Studio. It is going to be 4 inches thicker than the Mac Mini. It looks like two Macs stacked on top of each other, kind of like the original Mac Mini back in the day. But the big caveat is that it will have the M1 Max chip inside of this Mac. Now, it is not known if it will be configurable in terms of the M1 Pro and Max, but according to the reports, it seems that this will only be the M1 Max chip inside of this computer. And ultimately what it's going to be is not only the higher end Mac Mini that everybody has wanted, but it is going to be a high superpower computer. It's not Mac Pro level, but if we're going to be fair here, we're on the Pro line, kind of almost overkill. But the idea of this machine is to be more for developers, content creators like myself, people that like to create stuff. And basically, this is a powerhouse of a machine that basically will deliver to everybody that doesn't want an iMac but likes to have a all-in-one desktop with the huge performance boost. Now, honestly, I'm not really one, I actually don't mind an all-in-one PC, but I'm not really in the market for one, but I will tell you that it does look very appealing. But that's not all, because also at the event, we are now hearing word from the reports that it will also debut alongside a brand new external display. Now, we don't know if this is going to be a follow-up to the Super Retina XDR display that they have currently on the market, but reports are saying that it is going to be a 27-inch display. It will work along any of the Macs that you use. It may not be as cool and revolutionary as the Super Retina XDR display that they have now, but it will have a little bit of thicker bezels. It will retain the iMac design in terms of thin and portability. And the reports are saying that it will be slightly cheaper than the XDR display. But don't hold your breath for that, because we already know these external displays are not, by any stretch of the imaginary, consumer friendly. But they're saying this one is more geared towards the Mac Mini and this new Mac Studio. So by debuting both of them together, they come as a set, and boom, you get your iMac Pro that everybody's wanted. Although I think we will see the iMac Pro eventually down the line. But anyway, wrapping all these rumors together, we also compile it with the possibility of the M2 chip making the debut. That report seems to have slightly faded, as people are saying if they're going to do this new Mac, it may just scrap the M2 altogether. But taking everything into consideration and now looking at these final reports, now I'm kind of really invested. Now I am truly hyped for this event. And now I have an idea of what Apple's gonna do, because if you look at that event, the way they marketed it, and you look at these products that are last minute, this perfectly sums up the event. This is everything that we wanted. And honestly, I'm all for this event now. So this is again my last video for the March event. I will do a recap on the event on my live stream, which I will have a huge announcement on that in the coming days. But anyway, guys, that is it. Enjoy the Apple event. I'll see you all in the next episode. We'll recap it, we'll talk about it, and we'll see what happens. Enjoy the event tomorrow.